Alright, so we're going to talk about some sequential logic, and assuming I don't talk about it for too long, then we'll go into some decision logic in this podcast. If I spend like 40 minutes talking about sequential logic, then we'll likely stop and start over again. But I don't think I will spend that long talking about sequential logic, because it's not really all that exciting, because it just goes in order. Where's my hello world script? So I had a hello world script somewhere that I was going to look at. Or maybe I didn't. I thought I did. Oh, there we go. No, those are all your scripts for the people who've done the homework already. Nice job for you guys. So whatever, I'll create a new one. PI hello world.sh echo hello world. So we should remember we need to make our scripts executable before we can execute them. Hello world. So there we go. That's my simplest sequential logic script. The scripts go, the commands go in order. Let's edit that to make that more apparent that the commands are going in order. I'll play that line 2 since it's actually line 2. And then we'll paste this a few more times. Oh, where's my... I don't know what I did, but my cursor disappeared. So maybe I should open a new window so we can actually see what's going on here. So this is sequential logic. There's no decisions in it at all. So there we go. They printed the lines in order. Do we have to just have echo statements? Of course not. We could put some commands in here like, you know, cat world.sh. You know, whatever commands you want. So now it's going to echo the contents of the file and then print the rest of the lines. So sequential is pretty unexciting in that it just executes the commands in order. As I mentioned before, most of the scripts you write will probably not consist of just sequential logic because things get a lot more interesting when you need to make a decision. So let's write a script that requires some decision to it. So in the book, they gave some examples of asking a question and getting a value and printing some stuff out. So let's do one of those for fun. Let's write a script, irtb.sh, and we will ask a question. We will echo. The book, they used a dash n, I believe it was. Yeah, dash n with echo. That essentially says don't put a new line. And we'll ask a question. Is rich the best? All right, and then we will read that value into a variable. I'll call it irtb. So we'll read that, and then we will want to print something based on the response. So if these square brackets are what you put the commands around, oops, I forgot the dollar sign. If rich is the best equals yes. Then echo you think rich is the best. So this is the simplest case of what we could do, and then we finish that off with a 5. So it's going to read the variable, and if you say yes, it's going to print out that statement. So let's try that. Yes. You think Rich is the best. So here's where things might get kind of tricky. If I run that and I make it a capital yes, is that going to match lowercase yes? No, it didn't. If I run it and put a y, is that going to match? No, it didn't. So when you're doing these kind of things, you have to be aware that people may enter things that you don't expect. And that's probably one of the biggest problems with scripting and programming is unexpected results. You run a bunch of tests on your test input or output, and everything works great. And then you get some real input, and you find out that people do stupid things. You're like, why did they? And then you just have to go modify your script to fix it. So let's go modify our script to take into account some of that stuff. What we could do is we could put a bunch of other statements, other if statements. We'll do that first. I'm going to get 3 lines. So 3 YY P. So now I'm going to say yes with a capital Y, and then oops. So here with a capital Y, then maybe you're very formal. So let's run this again. Is Rich the best? Yes. Do you think Rich is the best? Is Rich the best? Yes. You are very formal and think Rich is the best. Because, hey, you put a capital letter, you're a little more formal than most Linux or Unix users. So let's go back and think about what else we want them to do. So in this case, the if statements are both being executed. However, if the first if statement is matched, then you probably don't want to execute the second one in this case. So in this case, we will want to change our logic a little bit to get rid of the extra step. So we'll say if you think Rich is the best, if is Rich is the best equals yes with a lowercase, then echo this. Else, check to see if it's a capital Y, and then echo something else. Actually, I screwed that up a little bit. This would be a lot easier if I could see my cursor. So I don't want to do else. I actually skipped ahead to another scenario. If. If you want to follow an if with another if statement, then you do elif. So it's basically like else if concatenated together. So in this case, it's going to only execute the second statement if the first statement is true. So is Rich the best? Yes. Hey, you think Rich is the best? Is Rich the best? Yes. You are very formal and think Rich is the best. So in this case, it only executed the first statement the first time, the second statement the second time. So now we want to go down and put in a default condition. This is where the just plain else comes in, and then you'll put whatever you want your default condition to be. And if you don't think I'm the best, then you are clearly not very smart. Very smart. So, and I can't spell. Man, this is hard without a cursor. I should probably fix that. So yes and capital yes should work the same. But if you put anything else, no, you're clearly not very smart. So I have to say I agree with that script because I am awesome. No, I'm just kidding. So let's look at what else we can put in our script to do some decision things. We can also do some other types of logic comparisons with if statements. If you check your textbook, table 7.1 on page 350, let me turn over there. has some integer operations. We haven't done anything with integers yet, but you can do some integer comparisons. You can use -EQ to see if numbers are equal, greater than GT to see if it's greater than, LT to see if it's less than, GE greater than equal to, LE less than equal to, NE not equal to. The other thing we can do is some string options with the test command. That's what I was doing in the other podcast. -Z test for zero length strings. It's basically see if it's null, there's nothing in there. -N test for non-zero string length to make sure something is in there. And you can use equal to find out if they're the equal sign like I've used here to determine if the strings are the same, or you can use the not equal sign to determine if they're different. And if you just put the string name like I eventually did in that other podcast where I was having problems, then it will check for to see if there's anything in the string. So let's do something else. Let's add some more to this. So So if you think Rich is the best, let's do some more stuff. On a scale of 1 to 10, how, let's go back, I don't like that. Rate Rich on a scale of 1 to 10. And then we want to, not echo, I want to read num. Because we're going to get a number, so might as well call it num, right? And then for fun, just for fun, we'll echo num to make sure we get the value we want. Num equals num. So this is kind of like the in-place debugging I like to do. So yes, is Rich the best? Yes. Rate Rich on a scale of 1 to 10. 10. So num equals 10. So I got the right value. Let's run that again. Yes. 1. So I could go put some logic in there to do certain things. Let's go do that. First, we will make sure the number is between 1 and 10, right? You know what? I can't take it anymore. I need a cursor. I need a cursor. I just can't do it anymore. So we're going to modify our script to see what the make sure the number is between 1 and 10. So we'll comment this out. Like I said before, once you put debugging in, you probably don't want to take it out until you're sure you don't need it. So notice how this if is starting over to the side because I'm underneath another if statement. So if $num is less than 0, no, less than 1, because we want to do less than 1, right? Because I don't want 1 to 10. Less than 1, or $num greater than 10, then echo that number is too high. You lose. You lose. And don't forget you need your phi. So hopefully this logic will work. Yeah. Is Rich the best? Yes. 0. Oh, too many arguments. So let's go fix that. We put everything in its own set of square brackets. And then let's see if this works. 0. Oh no, it didn't work again. So let's go put this whole thing inside its own group of square brackets. And hopefully this works, because if it doesn't work, then I'm going to have to go figure it out. And I hate figuring things out when I'm doing podcasts because it makes me look stupid. Yes. Too many arguments again. Okay. Or maybe I need to put pipes instead. Oh, I got too many arguments twice on that one. Hey, that one worked, finally. So, there you go. There's another example of me brute forcing my way to some code that works. So if number is less than 1 or number is greater than 10, then the number is not good. So else, let's go, yeah, so we'll put a else echo your entry was $number. So let's make sure that we will get the value should it be a valid number. Your entry was 5. So num is still getting echoed. No, that's where I entered 5. Oh, so it's on the next line. I forgot to put my dash in. Dash in. Dash in number, let's try this. So, Rich is the best, yes, 10. So your entry was 10. So, let's do something else. So now I have else echo some things. So now I want to do some more comparisons. You know, so I want to find out if $num less than 4. So if you don't think I'm too awesome, then echo. We'll echo this again. I normally indent like 3 characters per level. I don't know if there's like a standard. Okay, we'll do else. We'll do a elif because I want to number less than 7. Then else. And then we'll finish all off with a phi. So let's talk about what I just put in there. So it says, if the number is less than 4, then echo, you're clearly not very smart. Else, if the number is less than 7, then echo, I'm going to take it clearly out. I don't want to be as harsh this time. So I say you're not very smart. And I will put probably in. You're probably not very smart, yeah. And then if you think if the number, anything else, you might actually pass the class. So there's a lot of different ways you could do this, right? I use the if, else if, else construct. So it runs this first one and says if the number is less than 4, then print this, right? If this if statement matches, it's not going to execute the rest of them, right? If this one doesn't match, then it will try this next one, right? If this one matches, then it's not going to execute this one. If this one doesn't match, then it will execute this one, right? So I could do it this way with the ifs and the else ifs. I could also have written a bunch of if statements. I could have said if numbers less than 4, then do this, phi. If numbers greater than 5 and less than 7, if numbers greater than 4 and less than 7, then do this. Else, or if numbers greater than 6 and less than 11, then print this other one. So there's any number of ways you could do things. This way would be probably more efficient, definitely more efficient than the other way, because the other way, just doing if statements, is going to execute all 3 if statements all the time. In this case, it's only going to execute until it finds the one that matches. So, it might be a better idea for me to compare it the other way. If number is greater than 6, then print the top portion. If I assume that most people are going to rate me highly, then I would want to put the statements that will be more likely to match first. Not something you need to worry about right now, because most are going to struggle to even put a simple if statement together. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure you guys will all get it. No problem. But something to consider later on if you start writing scripts for money, people paying you to write scripts, then you may want to try to make them as efficient as possible. And designing your decision logic so that the most likely cases get matched first will save you processing time in the long run. So, let's go run this again. Is Rich the best? Yes. Rate Rich on a scale of 1 to 10. 0. That number's too high. You lose. Right? Is Rich the best? Yes. 1. You're clearly not very smart. Is Rich the best? Yes. 5. You're probably not very smart. Is Rich the best? Yes. 10. You might actually pass the class. So, let's see. Is there anything else I want to do with this script for now? Yeah, we'll do one more case. What happens if the person's not very smart and is like, is Rich the best? I'm going to take the 5th. You didn't put anything. It says you're not very smart, but that might not be the action you wanted to take. Why did it say you weren't very smart? Well, that's what happened. It says, is Rich the best equals yes? No, it didn't equal yes. So then it goes down here to this else if. Is it capital yes? You're very formal and think Rich is Rich is the best. So in theory, if I wanted to have all these same comparisons happen with the capital Y, I would need to copy this code back down here. Else you are clearly not very smart. So let's do another comparison up here and say, come on. Say we want to first check to make sure there's something in that variable. My terminal's delayed right now, so maybe I should start some music while we're waiting. This is kind of frustrating. What am I doing? I don't know. SCP. SSH. Alright, so which host is that? Don't forget that. Yeah, so fine, forget that loser. I'll use this shell over here without the cursor for a while. So, yeah, go ahead. So, man, that's the one without the cursor, that's annoying. Alright, whatever, I don't need a cursor. So, we want to find out if that variable has anything in it. So, we want to check to see if the variable has something in it. So we can do a string comparison if, hey, did my cursor come back over here? Hey, look, it's back over here. We'll quit this one and go back to the one with the cursor. That's what I said. There. So we'll go up here. So I got the value. I want to check to see if there's anything in there. So if $IRTB, oh, I forgot something, so we'll go back in a second. Then echo, you're a chicken. Bye. So we want to see if the variable has anything in it. So a non-zero string length would be -n, but we want to look for a 0 string length, -z. If there's nothing in there, echo, you're a chicken. So here, I don't put anything in there, and it says, you're a chicken. But wait, it also says you're clearly not very smart. What happened there? Well, we didn't actually tell it to do anything else, so it prints you're a chicken. It still comes all the way down here and echoes the default matching criteria that says you are clearly not very smart. So probably in this case, there's two things you might want to do. You might want to ask them again for a value, right? Like, hey, you know, I want you to tell me your answer again, or you may just want to exit. So if you come to some situation in your loop where you just want to quit, then you just type exit. Is Rich the best? I take the fifth. You know, you're a chicken, and it exited. So that's really about it for decision logic using ifs. We did some string comparisons. We did some numeric comparisons. We did some compound numeric comparisons. Wow, that sounds impressive. What I mean down here when we put two numbers, yeah. Is it less than 1 and greater than 10? You know, as a compound comparison. So I believe that's all I'm going to cover right now with the if statements. So check back next time for some for or while loops, whichever one I feel like doing first.